This morning, the 15 minutes of fame for the astronomer co-workers seen on the jumbotron at the Coldplay concert, they aren't over yet.
Hi, I'm Gwyneth Paltrow. I've been hired on a very temporary basis to speak on behalf of the 300-plus employees at Astronomer.
What do you get when you mix a Coldplay concert, a cheating CEO, and one of Hollywood's most media-savvy women? You get a PR scandal that mutates into a viral spectacle, and then flips into a masterclass in image rehab. It all started with a jumbotron and a joke. The camera panned, the crowd roared, and suddenly, two tech executives found themselves in the most awkward 15 seconds of their lives. But here's the twist. The joke wasn't the story. The real plot began after the concert.
Now, Coldplay lead singer Chris Martin's ex, Gwyneth Paltrow, has entered the fray.
Astronomer has gotten a lot of questions over the last few days, and they wanted me to answer the most common ones. Yes, Astronomer is the best place to run Apache Airflow.
The company Astronomer looking to both turn the page and cash in after losing their CEO and head of human resources after the two were seen cuddling on the kiss cam.
When Gwyneth Paltrow, the ex-wife of Coldplay frontman Chris Martin, stepped into the chaos not to comment, but to lead. And according to insiders, that move changed everything. At first glance, the Coldplay kiss cam moment looked innocent. Two co-workers dodging a kiss in front of thousands. But what the internet saw, according to concert goers and lip readers alike, was something far juicier. That man, sources confirmed, was Andy Byron, the CEO of AI startup Astronomer. And the woman, Kristen Kitt, his newly promoted head of HR. Not his wife, not just a colleague. The hesitation, the lean-in, the visible panic, it didn't scream team bonding, it screamed, "We got caught." The moment went viral in hours, racking up millions of views. And while memes and reaction videos flooded TikTok, reports suggest the real fallout was happening inside Astronomer's glass-walled San Francisco HQ.
Astronomer had a major media moment, which it did not intend to have when its CEO was caught on camera in a really compromising situation. And so figuring out very quickly what to do with it is always a challenge.
According to company insiders, the fallout from Chris Martin's offhand joke was immediate. Emails were flying, PR teams scrambling. One source claimed employees were told to avoid media inquiries and delete internal Slack messages related to the concert. By the end of the week, both Andy and Kristen had reportedly resigned. Their bios were quietly scrubbed from the company website, but the damage was already done. Astronomer, once valued at over $2 billion, was now trending for all the wrong reasons, and not a single tweet had anything to do with machine learning. It wasn't just a scandal, one tech blogger wrote. It was a narrative collapse. But here's where the story goes from messy to mind-blowing. While the public was still digesting memes and Reddit threads dissecting the CEO's smirk, Astronomer dropped a video. No warning, no press release. Just one woman on screen, cool as ever, speaking calmly about data orchestration and Apache Airflow. That woman? Gwyneth Paltrow, the literal ex-wife of the man whose joke ignited the scandal. No mention of the affair, no comment on the chaos, just corporate poise and buzzwords. And according to industry sources, it was intentional, because Astronomer didn't just hire Gwyneth to fix their image, they handed her the mic and let her rewrite the whole script.
To create an ad that would capitalize on the newfound interest in the company. Mission accomplished by hiring Paltrow, who famously consciously uncoupled from Martin a decade ago.
Sources close to the situation say Astronomer's board was in full-blown panic mode after the Coldplay video went viral. Internally, staff were told to act normal, but the mood, according to one employee, felt like waiting for the other shoe to drop. Shareholders began asking questions, clients backed out of scheduled meetings. One source even alleged that an enterprise contract worth $8 million was quietly canceled due to reputational concerns. This wasn't just a scandal, it was operational sabotage wrapped in a meme. And in Silicon Valley, reputation is everything. You can raise $1 billion in funding, but if Twitter thinks your CEO's sleeping with HR, you're toast. And that's when Astronomer made the boldest move no one saw coming. According to multiple reports, the company's internal PR team had initially proposed a traditional statement, an apology, a reshuffle, maybe even a temporary shutdown of media activity. But then word is, a board member pitched an idea so wild, it sounded like satire. Bring in Gwyneth, not just for damage control, for reinvention. Why? Because Gwyneth Paltrow doesn't chase the narrative, she becomes it. And in that moment, sources say the board realized they didn't need to fix the scandal. They needed to outshine it. Wait until you hear what insiders are saying about the execution.
It really injected some humor into what was like a pretty non-humorous situation. It helped people see this company in a really more human way, which creates real relationships with their real potential consumers.
Thank you for your interest in Astronomer.
Gwyneth didn't just film a tech video. She filmed it in the exact tone the internet least expected: robotic, calm, completely void of drama. It felt like watching the Apple keynote if it was narrated by your therapist, one Redditor joked. But according to PR strategists familiar with the situation, that was the point. By leaning into the stiff, clinical style of corporate branding, Gwyneth amplified the contrast. She didn't have to mention the scandal. She was the response. "It's like she overrode the system with her presence alone," one marketing exec tweeted. And while people were expecting an explanation, what they got was psychological judo. According to insiders, the now viral video was shot just 2 days after the Coldplay concert, under extreme secrecy. The studio was reportedly rented under a shell LLC to avoid leaks. Gwyneth was flown in quietly, and the script? Not written by a marketing intern. Reports say it came straight from a boutique crisis firm that specializes in media manipulation.
I want to ask Rebecca, though, from a business perspective, brilliant, will it pay off?
I think if the price is right, it definitely pays off. And like everybody here is saying, it's delicious, it's brilliant. I think business schools are going to study this as like how to deal in crisis comms in the future.
For sure. Own it.
Yeah.
Every word was weighed, every blink, every breath rehearsed to perfection. A source familiar with the shoot revealed it wasn't a video, it was a signal, a way of saying, we're not broken, we're upgraded, and the message landed. Astronomer's ex-post didn't trend because of tech talk. It trended because Gwyneth refused to flinch. While the world screamed for a comment, she delivered code words. While Reddit begged for tea, she offered technical jargon. The woman who once coined conscious uncoupling had just done it again, except this time, the divorce was between Astronomer and its reputation crisis. And Gwyneth, according to one source, executed it like a general in a war room. Multiple reports suggest that as soon as Gwyneth's video dropped, the reaction inside Astronomer's Slack channels was total disbelief. People stopped working, one employee told TechBeat. Everyone just sat there, watching it over and over again. No one knew what to say. According to insiders, some staff thought it was fake at first, a deepfake prank or parody. But when the company's official X account pinned the video, it became clear. This wasn't damage control, it was war paint. The whole vibe shifted, one marketing lead said. We weren't hiding from the scandal anymore. We were owning it. Here's where things took a surreal turn. Reports indicate that during internal meetings, the phrase, "lean into the Gwyneth," became an unofficial slogan. Team leads reportedly adopted her delivery style in presentations: calm, minimalist, borderline eerie. Company decks were stripped of color. The website was redesigned in black and white. Even the logo was subtly tweaked to appear colder, according to design insiders. It wasn't just a brand reset, it was image armor. It was like watching a tech company slowly cosplay as its own villain, one former employee joked. But for Astronomer's top brass, it was strategy. According to a board advisor, if you can't beat the meme, become the meme. According to industry sources, the strategy worked. Within 48 hours, Astronomer's name stopped trending under Affair. It started trending under Marketing Genius. Tech podcasts rushed to decode the message. Influencers posted breakdowns of Gwyneth's body language. TikTok creators turned her pauses into viral sounds. Suddenly, the scandal wasn't about infidelity. It was about Gwyneth's eyebrow lift at the 23-second mark. Even Forbes chimed in, calling the stunt one of the boldest corporate pivots in tech history. The affair became background noise. The real story was that Gwyneth Paltrow was now the face of Apache Airflow. And just when you thought it couldn't get weirder, it did. According to two separate sources close to the situation, Chris Martin himself allegedly reached out to Astronomer after the video went live, not to complain, but to congratulate them. He said it was the funniest full-circle moment of his life, one source claimed. Others say he sent a text to Gwyneth simply reading, "Well played." While this hasn't been publicly confirmed, the idea that Chris unwittingly torched a tech company only for his ex to rebuild it overnight has fueled endless fan theories. Was this coordinated or just the world's most elegant revenge? Regardless, the numbers don't lie. Astronomer's website traffic reportedly tripled within 3 days of Gwyneth's appearance. Resumed submissions spiked by 400%. And for the first time in weeks, investors stopped asking about Kristen Kitt and started asking about API integrations. We went from scandal to strategy overnight, a VC source told Insider, and all it took was one woman pretending nothing happened. The video was slick, the messaging was flawless, but what really broke the internet wasn't what Gwyneth said, it was what happened mid-sentence. According to multiple viewers, just as she began discussing scalable machine learning workflows, the screen glitched. A flicker, a frozen frame, then a black screen, and suddenly flashing across it in bold white text. OMG, what the actual? No explanation, no context, just a sarcastic, half-spoken digital eye roll before the video picked back up like nothing had happened. That moment, according to marketing insiders, it wasn't a mistake. It was a plant, a carefully timed fourth wall break that gave the internet exactly what it wanted. Everyone thought it was a malfunction, but it was a wink, a former astronomer creative director told Brandweek. The glitch was intentional. The line was scripted. It was Gwyneth saying everything without saying anything, and it worked. Within hours, screenshots of the glitch were everywhere. Twitter threads broke it down frame by frame. Reddit conspiracy posts called it the most savage Easter egg in tech history. And according to one ad exec, that 1 second of disruption did more to humanize the company than any apology ever could. Reports suggest that behind the scenes, some astronomer employees weren't thrilled. It felt like we were becoming a joke, said one anonymous engineer. Others allegedly felt blindsided that the company leaned into Hollywood chaos instead of rebuilding trust. But according to insiders close to the board, that was exactly the point. Trust wasn't the goal, one source explained. Control of the narrative was, and Gwyneth gave them that. The shift wasn't just reputational, it was psychological. Astronomer had become the first tech brand to fully embrace the chaos economy, and they weren't apologizing, they were capitalizing. Meanwhile, Kristen Kitt, the HR director at the center of the original scandal, has gone completely offline. Sources say she deleted her LinkedIn, scrubbed her Instagram, and ghosted internal Slack before resigning. One employee claims she left behind a passive-aggressive note on the office whiteboard, "Have fun going viral." Andy Byron, the now former CEO, has reportedly moved to a private estate in Montana. His lawyers, according to Variety Business, are reviewing defamation and reputational harm claims, though no lawsuit has been filed. As for Chris Martin, still silent, no tweets, no interviews, not even a smirk. And yet, somehow, he remains the ghost haunting this entire story. According to a social media strategist who worked briefly with Astronomer, Chris Martin didn't just blow up a company, he gave it a rebirth. Gwyneth, on the other hand, is now being dubbed the Silicon Sphinx online. She stared down $1 billion scandal and didn't blink, one tweet read. She just pivoted to B2B analytics. What makes it all so wild is the restraint. She could have cracked a joke, she could have mentioned her ex, but instead she delivered tech specs with Oscar-winning detachment. And that made her terrifyingly effective. In the days following Gwyneth's unexpected entrance into the astronomer chaos, something strange happened. The memes didn't stop, but they shifted. They weren't mocking anymore, they were marveling. Tech Twitter, normally allergic to anything Hollywood, suddenly couldn't stop quoting Gwyneth's lines. TikTok creators began stitching her calm demeanor into fake startup pitches. One post even edited her into an Avengers-style trailer titled The PR Avenger. But according to multiple analysts, the real story isn't the memes, it's the metrics. Astronomer's YouTube channel gained 20,000 new followers. LinkedIn engagement tripled. And per Crunchbase, inquiries from enterprise clients spiked significantly. In other words, it worked. Industry sources say this could mark a turning point in how companies manage public meltdowns. Instead of apologizing or disappearing, Astronomer rebranded through celebrity proximity and calculated silence, said one PR strategist. It's not just reputation management, it's reputation jujitsu. And let's be honest, who better than Gwyneth Paltrow to deliver that? She's weathered tabloid divorces, wellness backlash, and candle controversies. She's seen every kind of headline, but this time, she didn't even need to address them. She stepped into someone else's mess and cleaned house with a whisper. And what about Chris Martin? Insiders claim he's still staying quiet, and that silence might be his smartest move yet. Some fans theorize he and Gwyneth coordinated the play, that this was a quiet 1-2 punch from the friendliest divorced couple in showbiz. But others say the beauty of it is in the distance. Chris lit the match. Gwyneth walked into the fire and didn't flinch. And now, instead of being remembered as the guy who cracked a joke that tanked a company, he's simply the prologue to a viral business resurrection. "It's Gwyneth's stage now," one post read, and she built it out of smoldering rubble. As for Kristen Kitt and Andy Byron, their story may be fading from public view, but sources suggest the legal noise isn't over. Insiders claim there are quiet negotiations underway regarding NDAs and exit packages. Meanwhile, Astronomer appears to be moving forward full speed, now repositioned as the cool kid of AI infrastructure. How long the glow-up lasts is anyone's guess. But one thing's clear, the company once doomed by a 15-second kiss cam clip is now teaching a masterclass in narrative control. So was it petty? Maybe. Was it brilliant? Absolutely. Gwyneth didn't scream, spill, or sob, she glitched. She delivered jargon. She stared into the camera like she was teaching you how to reset a router, not reviving a reputation. And somehow, that's what made it iconic. The silence said everything. In a world that demands drama, she weaponized calm. And Astronomer? They didn't survive the scandal. They rebranded through it. Not with apologies, with Gwyneth. That's the tea on the Coldplay Kiss Cam scandal and Gwyneth's unexpected takeover. What do you think really happened here? Drop your theories in the comments, smash that like button if this shocked you, and don't forget to subscribe for more celebrity secrets. Click here for another wild Hollywood story you won't believe.